Hello, hi there. My name is Marcy and you are welcome to my channel. So if it's your first time here, I'm going to kindly ask you to please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell button so that you're notified anytime that I post. So let's continue. Video, I'm going to be discussing how to use your birth chart or how to use astrology as a tool to know thyself. And just to give a disclaimer that usually astrology is not for everybody, but if you're here, it's because you probably vibe with it or something like that. Yeah, and there are many tools that somebody can use to know thyself, or to get to know themselves, to understand themselves more, or to evolve more. Yeah, things like psychology. There are so many tools. Yeah, but usually astrology is under the field of like occult knowledge. It's not really available to everybody like that, and not so many people may be interested in it. Sometimes in certain cultures it's even demonized. So yeah, and basically astrology is or getting into really astrology like that is really a belief that the universe and the celestial bodies out there in the cosmos affect our affairs as human beings and the natural world. So to begin, a birth chart is usually, I'm going to be reading, I have my notes here, so in case I be looking down, that's just for reference. And usually a birth chart is a roadmap of like provided by the creator or by the universe, or something that somebody can use to know oneself, to know the challenges, the strengths, the weaknesses, or things like those, and that might go on into someone's life. And in order for somebody to have a clear birth chart, usually you need the time that you were born, at least 30 minutes before or after you were born. And you also need the place that you're born, like the exact place, like Nairobi, Kenya, or whichever city. Yeah. And so I personally am an avid believer of astrology. It has brought so many lessons to me, or just some understanding as to why sometimes things happen in my life, or why certain challenges I might be going through. And how I really became or really into it was, I have Pluto conjunct my descendant. So it means most of my painful memories, or painful or traumatic experiences or transformations in life are going to come through relationships. And I had my own share of just all kind of crazy experiences in relationships, one-on-one relationships, romantic partners, best friends. It didn't matter. Anybody who really came close to me, whether in a good way or in a bad way. But I also had dealt with a lot of betrayal in relationships, and abandonment, and just all kind of things. So I was like, I need to find an explanation. So knowing that, for example, right now I have Pluto conjunct my descendant, it gives me a lot of ease. But another thing about astrology is that if there are major lessons that somebody has to learn in that area of their life, the fact that you just know does not mean that the lessons end. Even after I got into astrology and I was working, like just really trying to understand this Pluto energy and what it was going to cause, and transformations and things like those ones in my life, didn't stop me from experiencing more not really heartache, let me say heartache through relationships, but also changed me a lot. And that's how I really started to consciously work with that energy, asking myself why I was attracted to certain people, what were my basic what were my basic beliefs about relationships, what did I see about human relationships. Pluto in the 7th house usually has to do with a lot of naivety when it comes to relationships and how they function. So yeah, I talked a lot about that. So most people, when you meet them, they'll have an idea about their sun sign. So it'll be like, oh, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Virgo, I'm this. And I find yeah, it's true, most people will generally fit, like in a general sense, the basic aspects of their sun sign. But in astrology, there's more to your sun sign. There are 12 zodiac signs. There are also 12 houses. I'm going to put like some information here on the screen concerning that. Yeah, and different things in different planets in different houses are going to represent different things. So for example, Mars is about the planet of taking action. It's about your instincts. Saturn is a planet of hard work. It's to find, to build. It's about stability. Pluto is the planet of transformation, and directly facing your fears. Like if you have your fear of abandonment, your fear of rejection, your trust issues, whichever house that is placed. Yeah. Uranus is the planet of new perspectives, ideas, and concepts. It's also the planet of invention and innovation and technology. Mercury is the planet of your speech, your thinking. Venus is the planet of love and affection. Yeah. So, and but usually the three most important signs in someone's birth chart is the sun sign, the rising sign, and the moon sign. So the sun sign is the core identity of this person, or the symbol of identity. Just for my placements, I am an Aquarius sun. I'll talk more about that. I'm an Aquarius sun. I have an Aries moon, and I'm a Taurus rising. The moon is the or the planet or the body or whatever thing to call it of emotions, inner world, and needs. Your rising sign or your ascendant sign, usually it's like your outward personality, or the mask that you wear, or how you go through life, looking through that lens of your ascendant. Yeah. Another thing in the birth chart. Okay, before I move forward, so even before I was into astrology, I could identify with some of these basic traits of my sun sign, my moon sign, and my rising sign. For example, being a Taurus rising, like I'm really a lot into like comfort and luxury. I really care about the way I look, like my appearance, and I always did from when I was a small kid. Anybody who knew me, I would do like small cheap makeup. I cared a lot about how I looked. I'd also be like a bit not like slow in my approach to things, like almost like relaxing, like chilled, like yeah, like that kind of thing. Or yeah, and I love food and I love to cook, and I really value financial security in this life. And when I'm not financially secure, I'm not okay, to be honest. And yeah, my moon sign. Now this is funny because having an Aries moon, the Aries moon usually it's about the self. Yeah. And the way in this is like, for example, if I'm going through a difficult time, it can really be hard for me to get myself out of this rut of believing that there are other people who have been here before, who are going through this before. There are people in similar situations. There are people who will always be in similar situations, but it can really be hard for me to only think like I'm the only person in this universe that must be experiencing this kind of thing, and I don't like it and all that. And of course, I'm also very impulsive. Like I can just wake up and do things. I also have a bad temper. Yeah, but I can get over it fast. But yeah. For my Aquarius sun, that usually shows a lot in my career as humanitarianism, social justice, things like those ones. Yeah. Another thing that is important in a birth chart is the aspects. So you might have, for example, like for me, an Aquarius sun that is a bit stressed. My sun is squared by Pluto. So aspects can either be harmonious, like trines and sextiles, where the energy that really work like alongside each other very harmoniously, or they can be like a bit of a tense, or a bit some that are not really harmonious, like squares and oppositions. And for me, and the houses too, where these squares happen is also going to really make a big difference. I have my sun in the 10th house squaring my Pluto in the 7th house. So there's this tension that like my Aquarius detached, kind of also my Mercury is in Aquarius detached, like, oh, I don't care, humanity is all good and all love for everybody. there's a lot of, as a square, there's a lot of tension. Just that intensity of having Pluto squaring my descendant. I don't want to be obsessive. I want to just be carefree, but when in my relationship, sometimes people bring out really strong emotions in me where I'm like, no, this is not me. Yeah. So yeah, the squares are also important. Or a conjunction, where planets are placed together. Yeah, so the energy is going to, how that is going to work. I have Venus conjunct Saturn in the 10th house. So yeah. And also another thing usually is the transits. The transits, usually these are movements and angles. There are certain things which have seen coming to my life where I'm like, if I look, I don't do daily horoscopes, but if I look through my chart, I'm like, uh, my son was transiting the 8th house, which is the house of death and ruled by Pluto and darkness and all that. So I might have gone through a traumatic experience or something like that. Or yes, also, for example, you might have Uranus transiting a certain house or a certain planet in your birth chart, and Uranus is a planet that challenges us to break free, to reorganize, more structure, and have more structural behaviors and attitudinal changes. Right, currently I'm having Uranus transiting my 12th house, so this has really been a time for me to really reevaluate my belief systems. Things that were indoctrinated into me. I'm doing a lot of inner child work and childhood trauma, and just going through things that no longer working for me and just cleaning that up. Yeah. So personally, I think your birth chart can give you insight into the way you're made up, into the challenges that you have, and just sometimes how you react to certain things, and why you react to certain things, why you attract certain relationships, why you like certain comforts, why you have certain belief systems. Yeah, it can really do a lot of good. And yeah, I would just encourage people. I'm sure most of you that are going to watch this video is because you believe in astrology, but if you don't, just give it a chance. It doesn't stop you from learning the lessons that you're supposed to learn in this life, but there's a lot of ease when you know why certain things are, or when you are going through certain things. Yeah, and another one, for example, just the last one is I have Neptune and Uranus squaring my moon, and that explains a lot of my childhood issues or childhood traumas, or the kind of family that I came through, or the relationship with my mother and why it's the way that it is. So just give it a chance. And yeah, so with that, I'm going to end my video here, and before, just remind you to subscribe to my channel, please, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.